Greetings, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to Pure English Practice. I'm Karen. Hello now. Hello, Liz.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Now, I'd like to make you a co-host, if you don't mind.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you. That way you can let other folks in. Greetings, everybody. Welcome. Please find the chat. And there I will ask you, where are you calling from? This is different from where are you from? Where are you from is where were you born or where did you live? But where are you calling from is where are you now? Okay, let's try that. So where are you calling from? Where are you now? Okay, where are you calling from? Boston. Where are you calling from? Seattle. Let's see here. Where are you calling from? Oklahoma. Where else? Hi, Vanya. Good to have you here. Alan. Edinburgh. Where are you calling from? Edinburgh. We'll come back to these. Welcome. All right. Where are you calling from? Tokyo. Washington. Yes, Liz, me too. Atlanta. Hello, everybody. Welcome. If you're coming now, just find the chat. My question is, where are you calling from? It's a strange question in a way, because we use calling like the old days on the telephone. But what I really mean is, where are you using your computer, right? Where are you calling from? Wonderful. Where else do we have? Broken Arrow, Arizona. Beautiful Boston. Where are you? Let's let a couple more people in. All right. I'm watching for your city. Let's give it a try. I will use the cities and the places in the chat in order, and I'll say each one twice. So please mute or turn off your microphone. No microphone. Okay, great. And I will mute anyone else who needs it. Thank you. Great. You're going to do what I do and say what I say for this warm up. If I move my hand, you move your hand at the same time. And whatever I say, I will say again, so you can practice with me. Are you ready? A little bit of pure practice warm up. Where are you calling from? 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 From Boston, from Boston, from Boston, from Boston. Where are you calling from? 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 From Seattle, from Seattle, from Seattle, from Seattle. Where are you calling from? 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 Oklahoma, 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 Oklahoma. Good. Try that again. Where are you calling from? 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 Edinburgh, 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 Edinburgh. Where are you calling from? 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 Atlanta, 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 and stop. Just a little warm up to illustrate what we are doing here together. This is Pure English Practice. I'm Karen Taylor of the Color Vowel chart here. And we use the chart and we use the movements to experience with our brain the rhythm of English in natural speech. So I'm not using a special voice. I'm not speaking extra slowly. I'm just using English with repetition and with movement. With repetition and with movement. Try that. With repetition and movement. With repetition and movement. Yeah. So you can stop. When we move as we repeat, your body can help teach your brain what to pay attention to in English. Okay. So this is the method behind the color vowel approach and behind Blue Canoe. Blue Canoe is our pronunciation app for learners. If you have Blue Canoe, you can raise a hand or electronic hand, let me know. Great. All right. If you're new to Blue Canoe, this is the perfect place for you. And if you're not familiar with Blue Canoe, I'll be showing you a little glimpse of it today, a glimpse with my eye. Great. Hey, welcome from all over the world. I love seeing that Ana Maria is here from Mexico City, and Ai is in Atlanta, and everyone else, including Now. I want to honor Hello Now, calling from Japan. I see some other teachers. Who do we have? Wendell? We have another teacher in the room there. Okay. Who else do we have? Virginia? Wonderful. And I think earlier I saw Elizabeth. So this is a room with teachers and learners together. And some of our learners are also teachers. So this is a wonderful single place for everybody to come to be with the color vowel approach, to talk about language, and to practice most of all. Okay, welcome. Let's thank you now for putting in Blue Canoe. Exactly. So now feel free, answer some questions there. Today's theme is disagreement. It's not a happy thing, right? Disagreeing, we always kind of feel bad, but we need to know how to disagree if we want to, have a voice in our future. What kinds of things do we disagree with? In the chat, what do you disagree with? For example, you might disagree with an opinion, right? An opinion. If someone thinks that this problem was caused by that and you disagree, you think there's a different explanation. That's a disagreement of opinion. Opinion. Silver pin, opinion. Try that. Opinion. Opinion. Silver pin, opinion. Good. So we might have a disagreement about someone's opinion. Maybe a decision that was made in the past. That's right, Ana Maria. So a decision is like an opinion. They're both silver pin. Try that. Decision, opinion, silver pin, opinion. Opinion. Great. Hypothesis. Yeah, that's true, Laura. You might disagree with somebody's theory or hypothesis about something. They believe that this thing is true or that it will cause something. Maybe you're disagreeing with a fact about it. Maybe you know something more than the other person, or you know something more accurately. Okay. What else? What other things do we disagree with? An opinion, maybe a fact. What I want to raise today is, I think maybe one of the more common situations is a plan. When was the last time you disagreed with someone's plan? Their plan, right? Like they think this is the best way to plan. This is what we'll do. And you think, oh, I'm not so sure about that. And that's our first way to disagree. I'm not so sure about that. 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 What are the words? We can put it in the chat. We can see those words. I'm not so sure about that. Okay, is a way that we have to recognize the cultural part of disagreement, that every culture has different ways. Some cultures are very direct. Some cultures are much less direct. And I'll speak from my culture for a minute, North American culture. We would say something like, I'm not so sure that's the best way. But that not so sure is a very commonly used phrase. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. Try that. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. Let's make it longer. I'm not so sure about this plan. A little slower. I'm not so sure about this plan. I'm not so sure about this plan. I'm not so sure about this plan. Great, good. Can I hear somebody? Let's take 3 volunteers. Let's try that phrase. I'll do it 4 more times, and then I'll ask for some volunteers. You can raise your hand now if you know you want to volunteer, but let's practice one more time. I'm not so sure about this plan. I'm not so sure about this plan. I'm not so sure about the plan. Nope, I'm not so sure about this plan. Volunteers, 1. Can we try with, there we go. Virginia, you want to try that for us? Open up your mic. And I'll ask you first. Hey, Virginia, how are you?
Fine, and you?
Good. Where are you calling from?
Brazil.
From Brazil?
Brazil.
Great. All right. Well, let me count you in. Are you ready? 1, 2. I'll do it once. Here we go. I'm not so sure about this plan. Your turn.
I'm not. I'm not plan.
Good. You have not and plan, right? So those are 2 of the most important words in that sentence. I love it. We're going to now add the middle words. I'm not sure about this plan.
I'm not sure about this plan.
Great. Notice, everybody, I took out the so. It's not a necessary part. I was saying originally, I'm not so sure about this plan, but so is like an extra touch. So let's make it just a little simpler. I'm not sure about this plan, right? Again, Virginia.
I'm not sure about this plan.
Great. Yeah. So English has a behavior like this, right? I'm not sure about this plan. Virginia, go.
I'm not sure about this plan.
Beautiful. Second, beautiful, Virginia. How do you feel? Yeah, wonderful. So not sure and plan are the big words, right?
Yeah.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. Can I have a second volunteer? Yeah, Rumiko, and then is it Padlin? Great. Okay, so Rumiko, you're going to be first. Ready? I'll go once and then you after me. I'm not sure about this plan. Your turn.
I'm not sure about this about that.
Good. About this plan.
About this plan. I'm not so sure about this plan.
Beautiful. I'm not so sure about this plan. Your turn.
I'm not so sure about this time.
Good.
This plan.
Now you could, yes, you can change that last word for your purpose, right? If it's the time that you disagree with, you could say, I'm not so sure about that time. I'm not so sure about that plan or this plan. So this or that plan or time or schedule or anything that is what you disagree with. So I like your example. Let's try it with time. Rumiko, one more time. I'm not so sure about that time.
I'm not so sure about this time.
Good. Now what I'm hearing, Rumiko, is you have the stress, but I'd like to hear more connection between each syllable. So I'm not so, try that.
I'm not so
Good. I'm not so sure.
I'm not
Good.
so sure.
Good. Now, I'm not so sure about.
I'm not so sure about.
Good. Did you hear it, everybody? Sure about. She connected it. I'm not so sure about the time.
I'm not so sure about the time.
Oh, wow. That sounds great. It's connected. Now, do you agree? I see you. Now is one of our wonderful trainers. So she's lighting up. What do you think, Rumiko?
I feel very good.
I'm wonderful. I'm so glad. So we are learning that the stress is the time that's long and the connectedness that sounds fluent. Okay, beautiful. Padlin, help me with your name. How do you say it? Oh, can you unmute?
Sorry. My first name? Helen.
Yes. Helen, there we go.
Yes.
I see. Oh, I see. It's iPad, Helen. I was reading it as Hadlen because I was trying. I don't know. Beautiful. I love that. So Helen, would you like to try? I'm not so sure. Let's see. We have the plan, right? I'm
Yeah.
not so sure about the plan.
I'm not so sure about the plan.
Beautiful. I'm not so sure about the time. Your turn.
I'm not so sure about this time.
Great. And I'm not so sure about this idea.
I'm not so sure about this idea.
Good. This idea.
This idea.
Great. So idea has that stress on the second syllable.
Idea.
Yes. I'm not so sure about this idea.
I'm not so sure about this idea.
Great. So when we have about and this, it starts to be a lot of little syllables. Listen to it again, everybody, because it's different than the other endings, right? I'm not so sure about the time. That's easy, right? Ba 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 ba. But listen to the other option. I'm not so sure about this idea. I'm not so sure about this idea. So we have about this idea, about this idea. Yeah. So we have a lot of small syllables and we have to mentally plan to keep them small so you can hit idea. Okay, so Helen, try one more time after me, but use your hand on idea on that second syllable. I know you're going to get it. Here we go. I'm not so sure about this idea. Go.
I'm not so sure about this idea.
Beautiful. You did it. Yeah. So you changed from idea to idea and you connected it.
Mhm.
How do you feel?
Good. Thank you.
Great. All right. Thank you. So those are some phrases that let's see if there are a couple of others. I wrote some ideas down. How do you disagree? Can you tell me in the chat what phrase you might use to disagree apart from mine? Are there any other? I don't think that's right. That's what Nan wrote in the chat. I'm not so sure about that. Okay. While you're thinking, I want each of you to think, what do you actually say? And then I can look at it. And meanwhile, I will ask about questions. Sanait, do you have a question? Is that a no or a yes? Okay. You can let me know. Not sure about that. Good. Can we think of any other alternatives? I want to know what you say. Okay. All right. There's one more I have for you, and then I want to move to Blue Canoe. I'm going to go with the positive this time because we've been saying, I'm not so sure about this idea, right? We could go with, I think there's a better way. I think there's a better way. I think there's a better way. Yeah. So, and actually, Helen, since you have your microphone on, why don't you try it with me?
Okay.
I'll go back to you, to me, to you, and everybody else follow at the same time. Ready?
Okay.
I think there's a better way. You.
I think there is a better way.
Good. Now listen to what happens to there and is. Theirs.
There's.
Theirs. Right. There's a.
There is a.
There's
There.
a.
Mhm.
Good. So, and now let's just take it. Go ahead and close your microphone for a moment, Helen, and we'll practice together. So I'll go from the middle out. Watch. There's. There's. So 2 more times. There's. There's. There's a. There's a. There's a. There's a. There's a better. There's a better. There's a better. There's a better. There's a better way. There's a better way. There's a better way. There's a better way. I think. I think. I think. Get ready. I think. I think there's a better way. I think there's a better way. I think there's a better way. Good. I think there's a better way. Good. There's a, yeah, that's the key, and stop. So I think there's a better way. It's all connected, and we still have stress on the important words. Think better way, right? Well done. Like a volunteer, a new volunteer. I think there's a better way. Leslie, let's start with you. I think there's a better way. Your turn.
I think there's a better way.
Great. Now, can you use your hands with me? Do this. I think there's a better way.
I think there's a
let's
better
go.
way.
One more.
I think there's better way.
Good.
I
Don't
think
forget
there's
the
better way.
Good. There's a. Don't forget the So I think.
I think
Listen
there's
first.
a better way.
Good. Wait for me. I think there's a. I think there's a better way. Go.
I think there's a better way.
Great. I'm still hearing you almost drop the It's a small word, but it's an important word. Try again.
I think there's a better way.
Great. Ba 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 ba. Ba ba ba
I
ba
think
ba
there's
ba
a
ba.
better way. I think there is a
Good.
better way.
Yeah, very good. So we want to keep that rhythm that it honors the big syllables and the small ones, the way Leslie just did. Well done. Another volunteer. I think there's a better way. Isla, Yaila, Lila. I'm misreading it. You have your hand. There you
Yeah.
go.
Me. I think there is a better way. I think there is a better way.
Good. Stop for a minute. So let's start with there's a. There's a.
There is a. There
I
is
hear.
a.
Good. I hear you wanting to say there is a, but what we do in English, let me write it in the chat. There's a. So everyone look here. We have there's a. And it's almost all even, it's not typed the way we actually write it, but there's a.
There is za. I
There's
think,
a.
I think there is a better way.
Good. Now let's put it back into the sentence. Ba 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 ba. Your turn. Ba ba.
Ba ba. Ba
Ba ba ba ba ba ba ba.
ba 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 ba.
That's it. I think there's a better way.
I think there is a better way.
Great. Focus in on those three big beats, and the little beats will become smaller. Okay. And keep working on that contraction. There's a.
There is,
Yeah, there's no I in that. There's no is. It's just z. There's a.
Thank
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you. One more volunteer. Is that Vanya? Hi, Vanya. I think there's a better way.
I think there's a better way.
Great. Take your time on better. I think there's a better way.
I think there's a better way.
Great. So the more time we spend on it, the more gentle it sounds. Okay. If we get really short, it starts to sound more direct. It's shorter in time, straighter, more direct, a little bit. If you intend to sound very direct, like if you're talking to, let me think about this. If you're talking to someone who's younger than you, like a child, you would say, I think there's a better way. Yeah. Or maybe your loved one. But if you're trying to be diplomatic, use time. I think there's a better way.
I think there's a better way.
Great. So all of those time, what colors did you hear here, by the way, everybody? I think, and great job, Vanya, right? I think there's a better way. I think, better way. What colors do we hear there? Knowing the colors is not just.
I think it's green tea. Green.
It could be. For many people, it's think. For some of us, many of us, it's think, silver, pin, think, either one. Okay. Yeah. So Anna Maria put it in the chat nicely. I could take out my cards. We could have, I think, I can take out red, and we're going to actually build the architecture of that phrase right there. It's like the touchstone, right? So we have think, better, and way, right? I think there's a better way. I think there's a better way. I think there's a better way, right? Think, better way. I think there's a better way. I think there's a better way. Think, better way. Yeah, I think there's a better way. Great. We look for those big words in spoken English so that we can keep the small words small and the nouns and the verbs bigger in time with the hand. Beautiful, everybody. Let's look at let's look at Blue Canoe for a moment, and you'll find that in Blue Canoe, which is our app for pronunciation practice. Let's see if we can get in. There we go. All right. What I've done here, let me back up. Let me back up. This is the main page where you can browse all of the activities. And each one of these themes has many different categories. And in social conversations, you'll see there's a lesson on disagreeing. Let's click on that. Oh, this is a great way to disagree. Let's listen to it. Let me see if I'll put my volume up.
I don't think that's always the case. I don't think that's always the case. I don't think that's always the case.
Use your hand.
I don't think that's always the case.
We've underlined those important syllables for you in the app, so you know where to measure the time with your arm. I don't think that's always the case. I don't think that's always the case, right? So we have think, always, and case. You can listen.
Silver pin, think.
If you guessed green, it's okay. Notice that green is just next door. Yeah. So they're located very close to one another. And it's okay if you chose green or silver. Those are both comprehensible and acceptable. Okay. So if you look at my chart here, yeah. If you were down here and say thank, that's a different word than think. But if you're just up here, either way, it's the same idea of think. Okay, so there are two correct answers for this word. It can be silver, like in Blue Canoe, or green. And there are many native speakers who consider it green and other native speakers who consider it silver. Both are correct. Okay, so we're opening our minds to more than one right answer. And that's a wonderful thing for us, for everybody. Okay, let's go back to our exercise. There we are. Okay.
I don't think that's always the case. I don't think that's always the case.
So we practice by speaking with the app 2 more times.
I don't think that's always the case. I don't think that's always the case.
Great. As you're practicing, you're preparing for wonderful success. So I could try, I don't think that's always the case. When you use your hand with Blue Canoe, you are creating a new brain pathway. You're creating a new habit. Okay. All right, yay, I got 100%. After each sentence, there are a total of 6 sentences. You can move into a new one. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I just don't agree. I'm sorry, but I just don't agree. Let's listen.
I'm sorry, but I just don't agree. I'm sorry, but I just don't agree. I'm sorry, but I just don't agree.
Notice these 2 small syllables that become very small together. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry, but I just, 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 so that, but I just, but I just, but I just. Notice I don't even say I. It becomes kind of but I just, but I just, but I just. I'm sorry, but I just. 2 more times. I'm sorry, but I just. I'm sorry, but I just. Good. Now the whole thing. I'm sorry, but I just don't agree. I'm sorry, but I just don't agree. I'm sorry, but I don't agree. There we go. I'm sorry, but I just don't agree. Okay. One little hint I want to give you today, and there are 4 more sentences that I won't do now, but if you have Blue Canoe Premium, you can, complete all of them. But each one is its own little study. And you can learn a lot from each one if you spend time with it. Notice that the longer the sentence, the more, maybe it's not to notice, maybe I want to tell you, the longer the sentence, the more diplomatic it is. Okay, so the least diplomatic, if I want to be the sort of the harshest or the most direct, is simply to say no, right? I would say, no, I won't. There, that's it. It's clear. But if you want to be diplomatic, you can add words. I'm sorry, but no. I'm sorry, but no. I'm sorry, but no. Yeah. I'm sorry, but no. So we're adding time. Sorry, no. Oh, those times, that is the softness right there. That is the diplomacy, is in the time. If you say, I'm sorry, but no, that's too short, and now it's not diplomatic. If you want to be strong, do that. But if you want to be soft, take time. Questions about that? Any questions so far? I'm giving you a lot of information in a very short time, I know. So shorter sentence, shorter time, you sound more direct and less diplomatic. Longer sentence, longer time on vowel, more diplomatic, softer, more sympathetic, okay? And you can decide which one you need. Different situations have different needs. Okay. All right. I'm ready to take some questions. While you're thinking of your questions, I want to be sure you know about our learners community. Some of you came here today from an email that I sent you, and maybe you don't know about the Pure English Practice community. So take a moment here in the chat. I've just sent you a link. The Pure English Practice community is free. It will remain free forever. And it's a place where you can post your questions, maybe a story about what happened in English. It can be a question you have about English or a question about what to do in a certain situation, okay? You can also make requests for my future topics for future sessions, okay? If you go there now, which I will take you, you will see that here is the Pure English Practice community. It's nice. We have 255 people there now. Maybe you are one of them. Here's today's session. And when it's over, this card will disappear. And our next session is on January 19th. Now, it might be a time that is not convenient to you. I don't know. But I have some during the day and some at night for me. And you can watch the recorded session below. Notice here, recorded sessions. I always post the most recent recorded session. So you can watch this session later tonight or anytime after if you go under recorded sessions or general comments. Okay. Generally, if you're in general, it shows all of the other categories. So you can just come down. Okay. If you post a question like Mohammed did 17 days ago, I will answer you. Okay. So I'm there to help you. You can tell me your story. You can ask a question. You can post a video if you wanted to. Okay. When you post, we answer. Okay. So do use this, take advantage of it. And you'll know when our next events are here under events. Okay. I don't have a theme for this event yet because I wanted to talk to you. So you are going to now, as we finish up, I want you to help me decide, what would you like in the future? That's the same rhythm. What would you like in the future? I'm sorry, but I just can't agree. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, so what would you like in the future? What would you like in the future? Give me a topic or a question or a word, right, that you really want to work on. Maybe you're an engineer and you need an engineering word. Maybe you're an accountant. I don't know what you do yet. So tell me, and I can do something very practical for you. Okay. So use the chat for the next minute or so. And I'm just going to ask you questions unless you have questions for me. Questions? I now I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to ask Alan. Alan, hello, I see you. Can you turn on your microphone?
Yes,
Hey, where are you calling from?
I'm from Vietnam.
Oh,
But now
wonderful.
now I live in Edinburgh, Scotland,
I see.
UK.
Okay, so you're from Vietnam, but you live in Edinburgh. Yeah.
Yes,
Is it okay? Wonderful. And what is your work in Edinburgh?
yes. At the moment, I am between the jobs.
You're
I'm
looking
between
for a
jobs.
job.
Yes,
Great. So can I use your example for a minute? If Alan is looking for a job, then he could say, Karen, I'm looking for a job and I want to work on pronunciation and speaking English related to job interviews, right?
yes,
Is that true?
yes.
Have
it's
you had a
okay,
job
yes.
interview? What
Yes,
kind
I
of job
agree.
are you looking for?
Yes, I'm looking for the job in the office. Yes, yes,
Oh, good. So you're looking for an office job.
yes.
Great. Then on Alan, you've been such a, you're being helpful to me. So I'm going to include next time we meet. Thank you, Vanya. Next time we meet, I will include some phrases and practice around applying for an office job. Okay. That's my commitment to you. Okay.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Yeah. So what else? Nan says, trying to find a nice balance between teaching grammar and pronunciation, if possible. Good. Nan, thank you so much for mentioning that. As a teacher, we all know we have to balance a lot of different priorities. And it's especially nice when one lesson or focus can serve two purposes. So I can include that in the next session too, is a grammar-rich pronunciation practice. Okay. So these are the points I'm noting to myself would be balancing grammar and pronunciation. I will aim for a 2-for-1 kind of experience in that session. Okay. And if you can't come live, that's okay, because I'll record it. Okay, fantastic. Any other comments of what you would like? What's a tricky word for you? You're going to help me if you tell me what's on your mind. What's on your mind? What's on your mind? I love questions because they follow a very predictable rhythm. What's on your mind? What's on your mind? When did you go, right? So do you want to work on questions? I can help you work on questions. What do you think? Do we have any other hands up? So know that if you are just now starting to think and you need some time, that's okay, because the community is a place for you to post your ideas, your questions, and then I will decide what will be January 19th and our next date, okay? Our next date after January 19th is the first Tuesday in, let me see here, first Tuesday, the 6th of February. And that will be at noon. So I'll be posting that. Don't worry. You don't have to remember. Okay. I want to thank you for being here, everybody. I see a couple of other comments, tricky words from Laura related to olive, sock, and a cup of mustard. So we can include that. No problem. Okay. Thank you, Laura. All right, everybody. Thank you for your time today. It's been so much fun. Please join me again. Tell your friends, give them the community, and I'll be here for you. Okay. One last thing. Don't go away. I have one more reminder. We have our special course, which is our 5-week confidence course for pronunciation. And that is from February 2nd for 5 weeks. If you are interested in that, we have 2 spots left only. And so here's that information. Speak Confidently is a 5-week pronunciation course. It's great if you are an English learner who is an English teacher. So if you are a non-native English speaking teacher, this is made for you, or anyone who is say intermediate and advanced, meaning you know a lot of vocabulary, you know a lot of grammar, but you don't have a lot of speaking confidence. That's who this course is for, okay? So just know that that's a course there for you. Laura, thank you so much for letting us know it's your first class. We're glad to have you, okay? Virginia, also welcome, okay? Each time we meet is about 45 minutes. And, you know, I'm here for, we can be here a couple more if you ask me a question. Wendell, I'm going to ask you something because I see your beautiful smile. Wendell's a teacher, and so he's been watching this session. What are you thinking about, Wendell?
I'm just soaking it in. It is so marvelous. And it's not just teaching. For example, when you speak fast, then you are becoming more direct. If you want to back off a little bit and not be in somebody's face, then you speak slower and it's a little bit more sympathetic. I love that.
Yeah, that idea of time being a little bit of gentleness, right? So it's, and of course we'll find maybe some contradictions or some other examples, but if you're in doubt, just slow down a little bit, take your time and use more words. And it helps everybody kind of calm down if there's a disagreement. It takes the edge or the stress off of the emotional part of disagreeing. Okay, great. Thank you for that observation. I love that stuff, right? Okay. Hey, Virginia, I hope you come back since this was your first class. Use the community right over there. It's waiting for you. And I'm going to see you, I hope, at this next session on the 10th. I'm sorry, on the 19th or in February. Typically, it's first Tuesdays during the day and third Thursdays at night, my time, New York time. If you get confused, go into the community and it will appear in your time. When you look at your slide like this, I do believe that this time appears in your time zone. So that's a beautiful thing right now. Yeah. So when I talk about these times, you can ignore me. Just look at the actual local time for you, and then you're not confused. Okay. But we are a global community. And I think that's part of what makes this so special. If you joined me late and you just arrived, like some people have, no worries. I'll post this recorded session in the community. And you're already there. If you're not, I'm giving you that link one more time before you leave, okay? Any final comments? What's stuck? What's important? Final reflections from you. What was useful? What will you remember? Leslie, what are your thoughts? Anything useful today?
Oh, sorry, I was writing.
I saw that. I saw that. You said
Sorry.
if you know groups, yeah? So you would like to practice with a group, is that right?
Yes,
Good.
because I was studying in the Florida Atlantic University, my English course. So then now I am in Peru. I returned to Peru, and now I can't practice with anybody here.
Yeah.
So I don't want to lose my English knowledge. So that's why I am asking if you know some groups which I can practice the English.
Hey, that's a great idea. I'd be willing to try it once. You know, this is a free session and we can structure it any way we want. So maybe I'll put some thought to that, Leslie. It's a nice idea. And I think other people also could use some practice just being social. Okay?
Yeah.
Nice idea.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wonderful. So everyone, once again, what we do with Color Vowel is I help you practice. I encourage and help you to not think too much about it, but practice doing it. And that's why we use our hands and do all this. But I love your idea, Leslie, and I'm going to put some thought into that one.
Yeah.
I wish you all good health in the coming weeks. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Have a wonderful evening or day wherever you are in the world. And thank you. Be well. Bye-bye.
Bye.